Okay, this is Sunday, March 27th, 2011. So looking at the euro dollar, first we're going to take a look at the monthly chart. If you notice, we have a bull flag here, and we're coming up to the top trend line, which is 44.13. Not really coming up to it, but that's where we're headed. We also have an ABC to the upside. Now, this is a monthly chart, so remember, there's a lot that can go on the smaller time frames within this monthly chart. But if you notice, we are at a significant level, the FE50, okay, at 40.62. Now, we've tested that. This is the third time we've tested that level. So, we'll have to see what happens tonight. But one thing I want to point out is the CCI. The last time the CCI closed above the zero line, we moved up 1,000 pips. Okay, and I'm looking right here, closed above the zero line, we moved up about 1,000 pips. Okay, the time before that, when we came back up above the zero line, over here, we moved up from 23.91 all the way up to around 58.43. Okay, so now here we are, currently above the zero line. Thing is we haven't closed a month, so we don't know. This price could turn and bring this back down through the zero line before the month closes. It's all right, hun. Before the month closes. But if we close above the zero line, we could see another 1,000 pips up. So that's just a thought. Now, moving to the weekly chart, let's check that out. We're in an ABC to the upside. Target is 45.68 on this weekly chart. But if we look at it from a different standpoint, we're trading in a channel, a descending channel here, actually. Now, we did barely close above this trend line, but not quite enough to sustain a break above the 786 and to hold above that of the ABC pattern. So right now we rejected that 786. We had bearish divergence last week, so we could continue down a little bit, but when we look at the daily chart here, we're still trading in that upward channel. Every time it hits the channel line, we pop back up, and here we are at the channel line again. Okay, so there's a lot of support right here at the 40.39 area. Okay, we want to keep our eye on that. And when we go down to the smaller time frame charts, if you notice, we're sitting on the on C. Now, last week I had mentioned this. Last week, this is what we were looking at. Let me just take this off of here for now, and this is what we played last week. We had an ABC to the upside, and remember I said that if price comes down to the 50% and 50 EMA, which at that time the 50 EMA was laying real close to the 50%, that would be a nice buy area, and that we may not go way up. We may even come back down as far as to touch the 61.8 or the 786, which corresponds with the neckline of the inverse head and shoulders pattern, which is now just a trend line. So we did bounce off the 50% and 50 EMA, continued up, and we played that. And now we've came back down to test C, which is the 50%. So what we have to look for tonight is this. Now, we do still have bullish hidden divergence here on this 4-hour chart, okay? But we can still come down. And so what we have to look for tonight, Sunday evening Asia session, is if we break below this low again here, this 40.52 area, it's very likely that we are going to test the 61.8. And that will give us a new C if it bounces from there. So we'll watch the lower time frames when price hits the 61.8. If it hits the 61.8, we'll watch the lower time frames to look for entry signals long. But if we don't get those price action signals, we'll assume that we're going to come on down to the 786, and at that point we'll be looking for shorts on the smaller time frames to get us to these levels. Okay, but when the market opens, if we hold this 50%, then we know that all we've done is tested C, and we'll continue trading long. So just let me repeat that for a minute. We are right now trading in an ABC long pattern on this 4-hour chart. Price has currently tested on Friday the 50% retracement. It's very likely if we break below this 40, 56, 52 area that we will test the 61.8. Could probably get some ABC shorts out of that off the 15-minute chart. If we get below the 61.8, we'll be looking to test the 786, which is a great bounce area there. But how I will do that is when price reaches these levels, when I'm looking to buy, I'll watch the smaller time frames for that price action signal to get me in, whether it's a high volume pin bar or a candle formation, whatever it may be, the signal to buy. If I don't get that signal to buy, then I will continue and assume that we'll be continuing down to test the 786 and the neckline of the previous inverse head and shoulders here, which I would like that to happen because that could possibly be a great buy area for a very nice longer term than what I mean as far as intraday. So that is what I'll be watching tonight and tomorrow. Now the 1-hour chart. Okay, so we had the ABC to the short side. The target's 40.22. Now, that comes in close to the 61.8 on the 4-hour chart. So we do know that, if we break below this low here, that, chances are great that we're going to test this 40.22 area or even the 40.11. But the thing is we are, sitting on the low here. We could bounce from here, causing this bullish hidden divergence to kick in. So where we're sitting right now is a very important area. We could bounce from there and head back up, or we could come down and test the 61.8 or the 786 on the 4-hour chart. Would love it to come to the 4-hour chart here on this at the 786. Looking for opportunities to possibly buy according to if price action is there on the smaller time frames. And this is the kind of things that we discuss in the chat room. As the market is moving, I do not post updates any longer of the daily analysis on the blog. It's too difficult, too time consuming, takes away from trading. So we just discuss that in the chat room. So if you're looking for updates and what we're looking at, you'll need to go into the chat room. Okay, so this is Daily Outlook for March 27th, 2011.